Good morning, everybody. Well, this is Rachna again, and this is the final section of voice modulation. So now you see, we could be in any kind of a trade. We could be in a trade where we are supposed to be, dealing with actors, or we could be having to deal with children, or it could be dealing with anybody XYZ. It really doesn't matter. What really matters is that are we actually able to project ourselves properly? And that can happen only and only when you are speaking well. Now there could be a voice which is like, a person could be looking really nice, really good, and you might just say, wow, what a lovely looking person he or she is, really handsome. But the moment the person opens the mouth, it's like, so how are you? What's up, dude? And then you suddenly think, uh-oh, is that really so? Is this really what I wanted to hear? No. So what is it that you're supposed to do? If the person wants to really come up big time, be a good personality and everything, so what are you supposed to really do? You need to enhance your voice. You see, voice modulation is the utmost important thing in any kind of speaking. You could be speaking one-on-one, you could be speaking to a big mass, you could be speaking anywhere and anyhow, but the important thing is, and the crust is this, that we need to speak well, right? We need to have a really commanding and a really good voice. When I say commanding, I don't really mean that it has to be really commanding, but in the sense that, you go around with a stick in your hand and say, boss, you got to do what I say. It's not really that. But the important thing is that you really need to be in command when you're speaking. It should be like when you're speaking something, everybody is listening to what you want to say, right? Now here, when we're talking about voice modulation, it is not the language that comes in. It's not necessary that a person has to be, very good while speaking in English only or in Hindi. It could be just to any kind of language that you're speaking. But the important thing is that how are you supposed to improvise your voice, the texture of your voice, right? So now let's get down to understanding a few nitty-gritties as to how you need to go about modulating your voice, right? The first and foremost thing is learn to open your mouth well. Your jaw should be able to open up wide while speaking. Yeah, a person needs to be able to, let all the sounds come out properly. You cannot be muffling in all your sounds within your mouth itself, right? For example, if I want to say, you know what, I really don't think I like what you're saying, right? Here my mouth is opening properly. But on the other hand, if I say like, you know what, I don't like what you're saying, I don't like it. So you see the difference? Here the voice is all muffled up. Somebody could be saying something like, you know what, I don't like what you're saying. It's not nice of you. Here the voice is coming out more from the nose, right? Now, as I said earlier also, that when you're speaking, you need to learn to sit straight while speaking. This is the second step. First is to open your jaw well enough while speaking, right? Second is to be able to speak from your diaphragm. Learn to take out the voice from your diaphragm. For this, you need to learn to sit straight. Your body posture has to be good. And when you start speaking, you inhale a lot of air like you do. And then while speaking, very, very slowly exhale, right? But in such a manner that you're exhaling from your mouth and not from your nose. Because what happens is when you're speaking and you're exhaling from your nose, there'll be a strong nasal sound, right? We need to avoid that, and for that we need to inhale from our nose, and then very, very slowly while speaking you're exhaling, right? It's very effortless. You can't even make out that you're really doing it. But then when you are exhaling from your mouth while speaking, there'll be a pull in your diaphragm, in your abdomen. There'll be a slight pull. So you will get to know that you're actually exhaling from your mouth while speaking. Okay? So these two things are of utmost importance, right? Apart from this, there are other things which we will cover a little later, but on a daily basis I want you to do a few exercises. That is, number one, try to open your mouth wide. So there are few people who are not able to actually do it, so you need to exercise while any time of the day. You can just go ahead and exercise your mouth. You could be like opening your mouth wide, and then close it, like that, right? And while opening your mouth, you could be doing like and try to take out the voice from your diaphragm. Inhale and then do it, right, like this. You could feel this a little funny, yeah. Other thing is that you could be trying to speak your sh and s, right? You open your mouth and your tongue will touch the palate over here, and you will say like sh, but without touching it. It's going to be like, this is the palate, yeah, and this is your tongue. It's going to be a slight touch here like this. It's not going to be touching the palate on top. So you're going to be like sh, okay? And when you say s, your jaw, you see your lips are going to go wide like s. Your teeth are going to be shown, and the tongue will be just behind your tooth. Like this is the tongue, and this is your tooth behind your lips. So it's going to be here, right here, okay? S. And when you're speaking sir, put your hand in front of your mouth. You feel air hissing out. It's like sir, okay? So these are few things which you need to practice, right? So for these things, exhaling air is important, and you need to practice inhaling and exhaling, right? This is one thing. Another is like when you are speaking, you have to have those sounds coming out. So what you can really do is you start breathing and you do this. Okay, so here what you're doing is you are trying to exhale from your mouth again. Okay, you've taken in breath from your nose, and then you do okay. So here the hissing, the trill of your lips will be there. Okay, so the air is coming out from in between your teeth and then touching your lips and going out. Okay, so for things like saying f, that is F sound, yeah, this practice is very, very important. You can do like okay, children. Now let's understand a few other things. What happens is that we become very, very emotional at times, yeah. There are children who are who feel like, how am I supposed to speak this out, like, am I really going to sound good? Am I going to really look good? So for these children, what you can really do is that you can start speaking in front of the mirror. Practice speaking in front of the mirror. When you're going to practice speaking in front of the mirror, what will really happen is that you are actually trying to mimic someone else, or actually look at yourself and feel how good you're looking. See, you've got to be very, very confident. You don't have to think like, what is the other person going to say? Just tell yourself, to hell with whatever anybody else has to say about me. I know that I'm the best, right? I am the best person. Whatever anybody has to say about me or think about me, they can keep it up in their own minds. I don't really care about it, right? So this is another very important thing. You don't have to bother about anybody else. You don't have to think what the other person is saying. It hardly makes a difference, right? So let's not bother about all that, and instead let's keep this in mind, that I am the best person and whatever I say or do is good, right? So what you can really do is look at yourself in the mirror while speaking, practice all these exercises early in the morning or before you go to bed, or maybe when you're in the shower, right? There are many people who, you must have heard them singing in the bathroom. They're called as bathroom singers, right? So what you really do is that you could also be standing in front of the mirror in your bathroom and, making all kinds of, faces and, opening your mouth wide and or ah and all that stuff, If you feel that what is the other person going to say, who's looking at me, the bathroom is a good place, isn't it? So you could be singing out loud over there. You could be singing some songs or whatever you want in English or in any other language. At least, the way you're going to be opening your mouth wide and everything, that will be taken care of, right? And another important thing, children, there are times when we have emotion, we are becoming emotional and we start speaking something, right? What you can really do is that if you feel like you want to really cry out or you want to say something, just simply do one thing, and that is go ahead and speak. Because what happens is, like, if you are being emotional and you're speaking, right, those emotions would actually be projected even in your voice, right? Don't try and control your emotion. Like, suppose if you're angry, right, it would take extra effort if you're going to control your anger and say, okay, I'll speak to this person later, or maybe I shouldn't say anything right now because my anger would be shown. On the contrary, probably if you speak at the time, you would have made things more clear. Or if you are upset about something and you are about to cry, just speak it out and go away from there. You can go and cry elsewhere, right? But your emotions are projected best when they are there. See, like if I have to get angry, yeah, and if I say, you know what, I am really upset with you, I just don't like what you're doing, right? I would probably have to, hit the table or, do something like that. But on the contrary, if I'm really angry, I would say, you know what, you can just forget what you're doing. It hardly makes a difference to me. Get lost from here, right? You see, I didn't really have to speak too many words, but my tone, my texture of the voice, it all changed. My body language changed, right? So when you are having that emotional thing right there, go ahead and use it to the best. You don't really have to bother about other things there. So these are a few things that you need to keep in mind. Now, children, there are some people who have a slight problem in speaking because of the fact that, the palate could be a little higher, the roof. See, this is the roof, yeah, where your upper palate here, yeah, this could be a little higher than the average, which is like this. So for the tongue to touch the palate, it becomes a little difficult, right? So what you can really do is, like while speaking, of course, if you're wearing braces, then that's not an issue at all. It's in fact even better. But if you're not wearing braces or anything like that, what you can do is start chewing something, like maybe you could be chewing a gum, or you could be, putting a clove in your mouth and then chewing it while speaking. So that would act as a support, that would act as a support to your palate, right? These are a couple of things that you can actually go ahead and do on a regular basis. Children, your speech wouldn't improve overnight, right? Just like you do yoga, or you are, constantly practicing your maths or your science and any other subject, yeah, you got to practice even this. Because if you're not going to practice, you're not going to actually improvise on your sound. When I'm saying sound over here, I mean the texture of your tone, your voice. Let me put it this way. You will not be able to improve the texture of your tone, your voice. You will not be able to modulate it. You would not be able to put in your punctuations at the right time. In my previous videos, I have spoken about punctuation marks being there and your emotions and many other things being there, right? But when we are talking about improvising our, the texture of our voice, we really need to make sure that we are practicing these things. Okay, you need to have that really strong voice to be able to project yourself properly. All right? Well, I hope you will be practicing, and when we meet, I hope I see everybody with a lovely textured voice, right? Now, happy practicing. Goodbye. Thank you.